Hi, I'm Ryan, and welcome to my coding bootcamp journey. In this series, I will share my experiences as I learned to code through Flatiron School's web development program. If you know anyone that would enjoy this series, please send them to the link at the bottom of your screen. Right. So, what is new this week? So this week, diving deeper into JavaScript functions, which are essentially like Ruby methods, just another way of saying the same thing. So it's a specific set of tasks that returns like a certain like item or data type or what have you. So, going deeper into the, how you build them out, what you can do with them, and that kind of stuff. And for struggles this week, one was a higher order function, which I guess I mean, really the best way I can explain it is kind of like like a function that calls another function essentially. Um, so it's kind yeah, it is a bit complex, and more than likely I'll have to kind of do more review on it. Yeah, it's kind of at this point it's kind of difficult for me to kind of explain, but yeah, the it's in this section. But yeah, kind of the best way I can explain it is kind of like a function that calls another function that does a unit of work. That's really how best I understand and explain it. And another struggle I had was iterating through an object that's in an array, which is nested inside of another object. So, let to kind of explain what I mean by nested. I got a little thing here. I didn't put this in JavaScript just because that would that would be confusing for a lot of people. So I get used something that a lot of people are familiar with. So there we go. So you can kind of tell that from down here that documents, music, pictures that we're talking about a file system. So home is nested inside root, user and set. So this is what I mean by nested. So I was essentially trying to work through like an object in JavaScript is it's an item that has like different properties like name, like ID, name, color, and stuff like that. So I was kind of trying to work through a list of objects, and that list was inside of another object. So I was really struggling with that, and it this actually links to one of my victories. Those were my struggles this week. And as far as victories, the my cohort leads explanation of higher order functions. I honestly, I, I know it sounds like I don't quite understand it, but it is a pretty complex. It is a pretty complex idea. So, but he was able to get me to where to my current level of understanding, and able to explain it much better than I was able to through the way it was explained in the curriculum. And kind of going back into my nested array struggle was just go for a simple solution, because I was I was going on Stack Overflow, and looking, iterate through array nested inside of an object, and I was seeing like 10 lines of code of like of like a higher level function, and like some weird and some it, I mean, not weird logic that I couldn't understand what was happening, but what I ended up with was much simpler. And I'm I flash back to an episode of the Mythbusters where they were testing. It was like back in like season 2, I think it was. Like like way early in their history, where they were testing a myth in regards to throwing cards, or throwing regular playing cards, not like cards that are specifically designed for throwing. And you have to kind of, yeah, you have to, in order to throw a playing card, you kind of have to do like some complex movements, as far as as far as how you rotate your wrist, and like when you release, and all that kind of stuff. So they were both, Adam and Jamie, the hosts of Mythbusters, were they both went on their own to design and build devices that through playing cards in a predictable way. And Adam tried his best to replicate the physical, like what you have to do with your hand in order to throw playing cards. And so he came up with like this spring loaded thing, and he built like this like kind of like aluminum tongs with like rub like rubber tips that kind of looked like fingertips. And it was kind of going off, and like they were going off in weird, cards were flying off in weird directions. Jamie just took like two metal wheels, one with the one wheel was free spinning, one wheel had a motor attached to it, and off they flew. And in the show, Jamie made the kind of made a comment that anytime you see an over elegant design, that's a mark of a poor design. Simpler is better. And the simple solution that I or yeah it the idea that I eventually came up with after trying out the ideas on Stack Overflow were that got me there. And it was like maybe 3 or 4 lines of code. It was that was much more legible and much more easily understood. So that it's always better to go for a simple solution first, because yeah, with when as you add complexity, you're adding more places where you could go wrong. So yeah, those were my victory. And as far as looking again, I really don't have anything for this section. I've been so focused on trying to maintain momentum that I really haven't had time to kind of stop and think about think about this section at all. Um, just I at this point, I'm just it's like driving at night. You can only see um so much in front of you, and I'm just trying to focus on that, just because if I look at stuff beyond like what's right in front of me, then I start to get a little overloaded, and then I kind of feel a bit paralyzed. So I've just been focusing on like lessons and labs directly right in front of me, and making sure that I'm keeping some kind of forward momentum here. So yeah. Um, but yeah, that's all I have for you this week. So I do thank you for watching. If you want to stay up to date, please like and subscribe. Feel free to check out the rest of this series. And if you have any comments or questions, please post them below. And I'll see you in the next chapter.